This program was made possible with the assistance of the State Arts Council of Oklahoma. Long before this land was called America, Native people danced in a circle around the drum for celebration, fellowship, renewal, and healing. Today, the beat of the drum resounds throughout Oklahoma, once known as Indian Territory, and still home for more Native Americans and more tribal groups than any other state. From many individual tribal ceremonies and songs of the Plains Indians has come the contemporary powwow, an Indian gathering of many tribes, an intertribal blend of the old and the new. In the powwow, a non-Indian might see the power and endurance of an athletic contest, the beauty and grace of a ballet, the color and display of a musical theater in the round, the fellowship and feasting of a family reunion, the spiritual uplift of a prayer meeting, the patriotism of a Veterans Day parade,
Thank you very much.
the variety of a crafts festival,
For coming to be with us.
the surprise and gift-giving of a birthday celebration. For Native Americans, the powwow is all of this, and a way to come back to what holds them together as tribal people. For the next hour, American Indians who have grown up around the drum will introduce you into the circle.
Now you're going to hear a lot of different stories. You're going to get a lot of stories and a lot of different stories. And I've been in places where I've told stories to different people and they don't even use it. They'd rather use somebody else's story, but they don't use actually where it comes from and where it originated from and how it originated. The beginning of the Oklahoma powwow started right down there at White Eagle, about 1877.
In the 1870s, the United States Army forced the Ponca people from the northern plains of Nebraska to Indian Territory. Many Poncas died on the journey, but their songs and dances arrived intact.
That was their celebration. That was their ceremony. It's because they survived that trip. Being down here, of all the hardship they had to go through to bring that hail down here, those pipes, you know, and the ways down here with them. They had to suffer, sacrifice to do that. And we ought to appreciate that, what them old people done. I do for one.
In the western part of Indian Territory, another Plains tribal group, the Kiowa, continued their own form of ceremony and dance.
And during that time, we say, somewhere in about 1890, I think it was, some 40 miles west here, they call it Rainy Mountain. That's all the Kiowa people used to live there, camp. And one day, their leaders said, well, let's have a little powwow, what is today's popular name for powwow, Indian gathering. They was dancing this particular dance, gourd dance. Gourd dance. They want to have a good time.
Other neighboring Southern Plains tribes gathered to dance in their own traditional ways.
Got a bunch of powwows around here. This man, they didn't have no flyers or it's word by word, you know, mouth by mouth. They would say, I want to have they call it picnic them days. Hey, we're going to have a picnic over at my place. I said, y'all come over. We're going to have it 3 days. Come over. But they take the time, you know. No hurry, no hurry.
As the brutal conflict of the 19th century Western expansion was retold as the myth of cowboys and Indians in traveling shows, a new style of dancing was created for a new kind of audience.
And the show, the Wild West show, was a big thing because they drew a lot of Eastern. They came out here in the trade boats in the early, just turn of the century, when the Wild West show, Miller Brothers were putting on that Wild West show. When the Eastern people were coming way back there and then they wanted to see the cowboys and the Indians, it wouldn't sound very good. Now we're going to have Heroisko, a man dance by the Indians. That wasn't exciting. So, but they said war dance. That excited those Eastern people, and that's what got its name in those Western rodeos and shows.
As more Indian people fought for the United States in world wars, the Plains Indian tradition of honoring warriors with dance and song began to include returning veterans.
Through World War I, there were many who fought in the service, came back, returned, and any time a young man came into back home for a leave of absence from his service obligation, then there would be a dinner, someone would have a dance in his honor, and there was usually money taken up to help him get back. These dances were held certainly in celebration that he was all right.
After World War II, then began to change. Those veterans, when they came back, they were considered warriors, just like a long time ago, see. That's why they honored them, see. Yeah, Tekniwap, you know, that means a warrior who's been on a war expedition. That's what they went on, see, according to modern ways, you know.
This started right after World War II, when all of the soldiers and men and women who served in the service, and there were many women who served in the service too from the Pawnee tribe. So as these people came back in, they were given individual dances, but we found that there was a time, July 4th, we decided that this was going to be our homecoming dance, and it was going to welcome back the armed service personnel or anyone who had been away from the tribe. So this is the earliest recollection that I have of an intertribal, because that was the beginning of a major dance, and we would welcome other tribes to come in. Families were finding that they were maybe more than one tribal group, and they were invited in. But as we came back into Oklahoma in the mid-40s, that's when Tulsa Pow-wow and Lakeview began. And then we found that more and more people were being invited and wanted to be part of these gatherings. They were pretty informal, I think, at the beginning, just close friends and people getting together to sing and practice singing and maybe helping their children learn to dance a little bit.
But I can remember when Ponca Pow, the carver, clear back almost to Ponca City, waiting to get in there in their 50s. They went back that far.
With modern travel modes, fast airplanes, we can be in one point of the country and next and pick up something and come back and do that, and no one knows why, you know. So we have a lot of crossing of cultures at a high rate of speed without any time to get introduced to it and say, why do you do this? You know, why is that? And it happens so quick. Well, someone did it, and I'll do it too, you know, and there's no history to it, so.
We can never bring the back to past. We're always looking towards the future. But we have to hang on to our traditional ways and our modern ways. And we try to compare it and make it come close as we can. We always say that our drum is the heartbeat of our Indian people. When you put your drum ahead, you take care of it, it'll take care of you. And there are different styles of singing, how hard you use it, how hard you hit it, for the variety of dances. is what makes them move.
Old days, they killed, of course, naturally, the buffaloes. They stretch a hide on the ground, and then the men stand around down and hit that hide, they call it a hide. And these have some boom sound in there. They sing with the song, they harmonize some, and then from there, the song comes out. Some time ago, back in the later years, they used this band drum like this, that big bass drum. That's what they used to use.
These old singers, oh man, they had a way that you just can't describe. Them guys made you dance. You danced and you never got tired.